pretty hooked on that sometimes.
Well, with the time change, it's -7, so I evidently selected the wrong time period.
Yeah. So you hang around for a little while and see if anybody showed up, or am I going the right way? Were they here an hour ago, wondering where we were?
So I sent out the email I scheduled it, and I looked at I noticed that I never got one in my inbox. I'm like, what the heck's going on? So I I need to figure that out. I thought I'd adjusted it, but I was wrong. I need to add another hour onto it. So I apologize for everybody who got their email late to remind them to come to the meeting.
Time. I hear it's relative.
Am I recording now? Yes, I am. The record button's right behind my camera, so I can never tell. So, I kind of wanted to good Lord. Somebody keeps calling me. It's like the fourth time I've gotten a phone call. Take the hint when you get my voicemail that I am unavailable. Just letting everybody know. It doesn't mean call 4 times. No. I had to have the conversation with my daughter a month ago. She got her first phone and she proceeded to call somebody 32 times in one night.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's a little
So I was like, you can call twice. It's extremely urgent.
Yes.
At 32 times, you've lost a friend.
32 times, you're going to get a visit.
Yeah. You call me 32 times. I informed her that. And no certain terms. If you call me 32 times in a row, I'm going to take that phone. Take great joy in putting a hammer through it.
There you go.
So, anyways, today we were going to talk through some more fourth quarter tips, but Skip and I got into this really good conversation this morning around why people are losing customers and what they can do about it, and like how the tool plays into it. Is this one of these moments where you're having a conversation and all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, there's something here. There's some truth that we're about to uncover. I'm waiting for angels to sing and like somebody or a level up, like commentary in the background, like a video game.
Mario sound, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like you're sitting there going, okay, what is it? What are we scratching on here? And I believe it was, Skip mentioning that he was talking to a customer about the bar not moving in MSPL. So you use the MSPL tool and you have your measurements going on and you revisit in a year, but you haven't done any of the projects on the list.
That's right.
And so the bar doesn't move.
Yep.
And this started getting us thinking about like, well, what does that mean? If the bar doesn't move between 2020 and 2021, does that mean that you were unproductive?
Yeah. What have you done? Is the client going to play the little soundbite? What have you done for me lately? If you're not moving that needle, then why even put it up there? Why use it? But I'm on the other side of the fence. I think that putting that needle up there, putting that score up there, and then moving it. All right. So I don't want to just put the score up there, but I think moving that needle is a fantastic way to show your clients that you're doing something. As managed service providers, I know we have fallen into this route where we start taking on a customer. We're putting out the fires, everything's going great. That's lots of times why we get customers, right? Because something's on fire, something's going really, really bad. They didn't have an IT company or they're shifting IT companies, well, whatever. We take them on. There's that period of, 6 months, maybe a year for the really rough ones, whatever. And then everything's starting to go good. All right. Everything's just working. They're able to focus on their business. We're able to do everything we need to do in the background. And then the client goes, so what am I paying you guys for? And you're like, well, you can see, you're pulling your hair out. You're going, because I'm doing all this stuff for you. But they don't see that. They don't see the value. And so we need continuous communication. We need these multiple avenues to show our clients what we're doing for them. And the scores in managed service platform are a great tool to do that.
So I'm going to make this even simpler for people because we're saying the same things we've always said, but the aha moment this morning was that, let's imagine you're a 5-man shop and you're sitting there and you're really good at your job. You are really in tune with what your clients are doing and trying to accomplish. Now, if you get into the mode of you're working really hard, patching systems, upgrading PCs, migrating to the cloud, you're a really great shop. However, all you're doing is maintaining systems and maintaining the status quo. What's the difference between you and a larger shop? Why would I use you? So when you go from one year to the next year and the bar is the same, you have not improved your client. You are no different than any large MSP out there who just maintains the client.
Yep, that's it.
Instead, you as a boutique shop need to look at your client and say, how can I improve? Or how can I help you accelerate who you are? What new can we add or change next year to make your product more viable? And that is where the bar moves. So if somebody came in and just said, hey, you know what? I'm going to send out an email every month to promote your MSP. I am going to create an ad for you on Facebook 3 times a month, and I am going to generate 5 blogs for you. A year goes by. They've done all their work. They've done everything they promised and said, hey, we did a great job. Look, we did all this stuff. Now pay us. Now you look at your bottom line and you say, I didn't gain a single customer this year.
Right. Yeah. No new business. No, nothing net new. Why?
Why am I paying for all this ad revenue or all this marketing? Why wouldn't I hire a salesperson instead? Mm-hmm. And then your marketing company has to think about that. You are the same people. You are a service industry. Now, you want to go from just being a service provider to being a strategic partner. And you do that by moving the needle. You want your client to realize that they won new they sold more this year because of technology you helped implement. Not just because you had better patches, but because you had more to offer, because you helped their company grow. Yep. And so when you look at that bar and it doesn't move year over year, you're maintaining the status quo. You are no different than any other MSP on the marketplace. If that bar moves, you have grown their company. You have built things that have changed them.
Yes.
And I get asked that question every once in a while in coaching, and I'm sure Skip does too, of, hey, what do I do next year? I mean, nothing will have changed next year.
Oh, yeah. That's a great.
Then what are you doing?
Everything changes. I mean, we constantly have change. I mean, if everything stays the same, then yeah, we can all retire. But that isn't going to happen anytime. I wouldn't spend a moment worrying about that. That's a problem that won't happen.
There is a phrase that I've heard traction coaches use, and I've heard several other business coaches use. Like, if you're not growing, you're dying.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's say you do your tech audit this year, and then you do your risk audit next year, and you do an architecture audit the year afterwards, or a best practices audit, or a service audit. Pick your thing. And then you do an additional one. Okay, so you have not changed your service portfolio. You have not changed your tech portfolio. You have not changed your risk portfolio in those 3 years or in that 1 year. And you go back and you audit your customer. What reason do they have to keep you around other than break fix? So every year in your tech audit in HIT, you should be thinking, what does 2021 look like? So for instance, we should be adding in the next month here a new report that Skip added and created with a group of peers. And it's all about remote workforce development. So if last year you gave them a tech audit, this year you're giving them a remote workforce audit. Now you can move the needle. They have things to move towards. And maybe this will be a 3-year growth track for them, because some of your customers don't change much year over year. They just don't have the demands, but you still have a 3-year plan. The smallest customer you have has technology they want to implement that they cannot afford. You'll get them there. You just got to plan it out. So you're moving the needle. We're getting closer to that new technology they want. We're getting them closer to being a distributed workforce or getting in the cloud or whatever it is. Move the needle. Don't maintain status quo. So use the audits in HIT as a litmus test of, are you doing a good job? Not necessarily communicating to your clients the job, but you yourself, as a small MSP sitting there, are you empowering your customers? Are you making a difference? Yep. And this is the honest reflection time. And that's kind of the aha moment we had this morning, was using that growth bar to decide, am I helping my customers? Yeah. Yes, no. Has nothing to do with how often you're meeting with them. You can meet with them every 3 years if you want. You can, move the needle just by a fraction of an inch every year. But you got to look at it and say, am I moving the needle? And if you're not, you think, why am I not moving the needle? What do I need to do to help this client? Well, why am I just in break fix? Maybe you have a stubborn client that just likes break fix. They just want you to fix computers and get out. Well, then how do you get a meeting with them to show more value? Maybe that should be your objective this next year. Get one annual meeting with them. That moves the needle. You didn't have an annual meeting last year. You have one this year. You have moved the needle. Yeah.
All right. So let me cast this big scenario here. I'm going to do it really quick without going into a lot of detail. But so annual meetings. All right. We're in the fourth quarter planning. So you sit down with your client and you do the things that Adam and I have been talking about these last several weeks. You're understanding their business objectives. Maybe you have a SWOT analysis. Maybe you do, I don't know, something with them. All right. And you have that list of goals, those objectives, those business initiatives. Now you tie those to your projects in the assessment. So the SCORE and Managed Services Platform, that tool there, the SCORE is a result of the assessment. And the assessment has recommendations. So we got this little 3-way tie that really brings everything together. So you go through, you do an assessment, generates a score, but the assessment also generates a recommendation. The recommendation gets put on the project roadmap. This is where Adam and I, again, you've heard us talk about this. You go in there, you change that roadmap, change those project names to match the business initiatives that they're supporting. So now you fast forward this, maybe even just 3 months, 6 months, certainly a year down the road, you're able to bring this assessment up. And now we see that the needle has moved. The needle has moved because we've completed these projects. These projects are actually tied to business initiatives. So now we've kind of solved the equation, and we're supporting the business, and it's changing the technology score. So now the client sees a strong correlation between the work that you're doing to support the business and the technology infrastructure, the technology spend that they're doing. And there's no reason why they would ever leave you. I mean, if you're moving the needle, then that should correspond to benefits to their business. So their business is growing. They're being successful in these areas. I mean, you're really able to partner with them. So this all connects. I mean, it's really about, getting in with these customers and getting in deep, so to speak, I guess, or these tight connections that we have with them. And it's not overly complex, all right? So we don't have a million steps here, but the steps that we do have are connected. You can't just isolate yourself and go, hey, I'm going to run a report, and that's the end all, be all, do all in the client engagement. No, there's more to it than that. It's not complicated, but it is interconnected.
Yeah. So This is what's going on in the minds of your clients. They're looking at you thinking, okay, this guy does a great job of fixing my computers. He does a really great job of keeping up to date on everything that I've asked him to, and he's managing the contract. Person B there's no relationship there. Person B comes in and says, I can do it for 10% cheaper. Yep. You're gone. Because that's what we call in the business world switching cost. Your switching cost is 0.
Uh-huh.
And so there's no reason why a low bid won't win that game. Now, as a boutique shop, as a small shop, you can walk in and you can say, I'm going to help you sell more pancakes. How am I going to do that? I'm going to make sure that your kiosk is one that is really easily understandable by your employees. Or I'm going to help you with increased Wi-Fi so people want to hang out at your place. Or maybe we're going to install lockdown iPads at all the tables so that people can surf the internet while eating their pancakes. Whatever it is, that's on you to figure out. Now, guy comes in, tries to underbid you, and the client will say, no, we like Bob, we like Ray, we like Alice. They understand us, and I'm not going to switch. Now the switching cost is really high because they have to reteach the next person coming in how their business works.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to, as that small MSP, come in there and develop that relationship where you're helping them grow. And if every year the needle doesn't move, you have no relationship with them.
Yep.
Guaranteed. There's no relationship there. Maybe you have gone and have beer with them, and that's your client engagement activities and those little things like that. These little gimmicks like KPIs, they abstract out what really matters. And in the end of the day, what really matters is, are you helping your clients grow? Are you developing them and understanding them so that they want to keep you around no matter how low the bid gets?
And the IT service industry has been pretty competitive just ever since it came out, right? And I know you guys are looking at your profit margins. You hear about maybe these larger MSPs, we've got these mega MSPs now, that have thousands of employees, right? Just within the MSP. And they've got this pricing model that, you're wondering how you could ever compete with it, because they're selling, some services cheaper than what you could buy them for, even if you're talking about remote management tools or something like that. So, there's all this pressure on you for a cost competitive bid out there. But I'm really wanting to encourage you to not fixate on the cost, but what you can actually deliver.
The value
of it all. I'm confident that I can speak with a little bit, maybe a little bit more expertise here, because I know I've worked in a few, let me put it that way. All right. A few different MSPs, and one in particular where I spent most of my time, we actually called ourselves a boutique service provider. Before that was even a popular term. I thought it was weird when we kind of did that. And I know sitting at the conference table, we were hardly ever, I don't think we ever were the cheapest bid on the table. But we won the business because of the value that we delivered. And in that, even though we were the more expensive MSP, we were able to deliver great service, and we made money. We made good money at that. And so there's no reason why you can't do this. You don't have to compete on price alone. And this is where actually you can blow your competition out of the water, because they're competing in the wrong game. They're playing the wrong game in this, because you're able to deliver the business value that customers are looking for.
Yeah. And that was the aha moment, was very simply, as a small MSP, develop the relationship and watch your bar every year. Even if your client never sees the measurement tools that you're using within MSPL or in HIT, watch that bar. That is your success meter. Did you do enough to maintain this client this year? And I know those are the client engagement activities and stuff like that. Like, did you have like 3 meetings with them? Are you maintaining the touch points? If you're using those, good job. However, the bigger picture is, are you moving the needle? And if you really want to get down to a clear cut, did you make them money this year? If you can show that, you can have your pick of customers.
There you go.
But in the end of the day, use the measurement tools we have given you to manage the success of your team. At the end of the year, look, did we change anything this year? Did we make them better? If not, in 2021, we need to tell a story. Otherwise, we're going to lose this customer. So with that, that was the aha moment this year. This today, and the end of the year activity was kind of along the same lines. The tip of the week that I wanted to go over was similar to that, in that at the end of the year, make sure that you're measuring your success. And so when in a corporate world, when we look at like, where were we last year? Where are we this year? What is your year over year metric? What is a KPI you can follow each year? And so with your client, you want to ask them that question. How do you see success next year? And so you want to set a KPI with your client. Now, if you, with your employees, you already do this, or you should already be doing this. If you're not doing this with your employees, please reach out to me. I will train you how to do it. But the idea of a performance-based organization, what is it that is going to tell you that this employee was successful the last 12 months? Is it the number of tickets closed? Is it the number of projects closed, number of clients won, whatever it is? Set that with them this year. Let them come up with it. And then next year, if they don't make it, they say, you made this goal.
Yes.
And so with your client, say, what does success look like for you next year? And if your client says, I want 0 downtime next year, you're like, that's impossible. How about we go with a better number? Last year you had 10 hours of downtime. How about we shoot for 5 this year?
Yep.
Find something that you can hold on to with your client, especially your big Class A clients, your B clients, the ones that are really important to you, and set with them, even if it's an email or a phone call. What does success look like for you next year with our relationship?
On that, we've got to really change the narrative. So, I got this idea years ago. I got this idea in my head that, technology needed to support the business, right? I kind of, a foobarred this earlier in the day, but so I'll get it right now. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while, right? And so I think that might have been how I stumbled into this, that, hey, technology needs to support the business. And so I knew that was where we needed to go, but I didn't understand. I mean, I'm a smart engineer guy. I thought I was a smart engineer guy. I thought I needed to have all the answers. And I kind of hear that. I kind of feel that vibe from a lot of you guys. And when we're talking, like, you guys are saying, I don't have the answers to their business. I don't know what to tell them to do. And I want to reassure you and let you off the hook here. That's okay. You don't need to know that. What you need to do is ask them what is important. What would they call success next year? And then you work towards that success. That's where you are going to have answers. Let's pick Adam's example there. The client says, hey, I want 0 downtime, right? Okay. Well, why? Why do they want 0 downtime? You begin digging into it and you realize they had downtime. Maybe they're a retail company and they had downtime on, the day after Thanksgiving, and it cost them thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales. And you go and you look at this and go, okay, let's build out a system that we can ensure has 0 downtime, or maybe right at 0 downtime within these time parameters. But you give us all the flexibility we need to do upgrades, to do migrations, to develop your infrastructure during these non-critical windows. All right. Well, all of a sudden that works, and a year later you sit down with the client and you go, and you don't ask them, hey, how much downtime did you have? All right. That's actually the wrong thing to be asking. All right. You ask them, how much money did you lose due to downtime? And when the client comes back and goes, I don't think we lost anything in sales due to downtime. You've succeeded, and the client's going to recognize that as well, because we're putting it in the right context. All right, downtime, uptime, what does it really matter? All right? Yeah. If they're not losing any money because they're not down, they're going to be happy. They could be down 12 hours out of every day, but if they don't lose any money, if it doesn't impact any of their work activities, they really wouldn't care. So position those questions in context of the business initiative and let your clients drive that initiative. Ask open-ended questions. Let them lead with that. Let them set the goal, lead the priority, or set the priorities and lead with the goals. And then you can fill in the technology solutions. Yep. Makes it a lot easier. Makes it a whole lot easier.
It does. It does indeed. And I just wanted to get that out to everybody. It's like, you have to ask the right questions, just like you do in the lessons learned. The right questions will drive profits for you. They'll drive your customers in the right direction. You don't have to have the answers. You do have to have the right questions. Yeah. And when you do that, you show value above and beyond anything you can imagine. If you do that, then your clients will respect you. They will see you as a strategic officer, and they'll see you as somebody who's a personal advocate for their company. And there is no amount of money that will make up for that gap. The switching cost is too high to lose a valuable asset like yourself. And that is something that smaller MSPs can deliver, that MSPs will, all larger MSPs will always struggle with.
Yep, absolutely.
Because that personal touch is what you bring to the table. That means that you can charge a little bit more. Mm-hmm. You can show them like, hey, instead of charging 125 an asset, you're now charging 145 an asset. Why? Because you have that personal touch, that boutique feel, and you're not going to treat them just like another number. If they want low cost, low bid, they can go with a large MSP who doesn't care about them. If they want somebody who's going to help their small business grow and help them increase profits, they want to go with you. And that is where you're going to find your value. And that is what I want everyone to take away from this, is ask good questions every year so you know what your clients want. Put that in your reports. Keep it at the forefront of your executive summaries so that it reminds whoever is taking care of this account what matters to this client. If you do that, you will make money. You will retain clients, and you will be able to push your profits higher every year.
That's it.
That's all I have for you guys. Maintain your KPIs. Make sure you watch and see how are you growing with clients. Do that, and you will be successful.
There you go.
All right. We'll talk to everybody later.
Thanks, everyone.